Hello and welcome. I'm Ijoma Onyato. Tonight, President Buhari promises to leave a legacy of modern and well-equipped police force, cautions against complacency in tackling rising crime rates in the country. FCT High Court grants EFCC leave to detain embattled former Minister of Justice Mohammed Adoke for 14 days, pending the completion of investigations of his alleged role in the Malabu oil scandal. Pretoria High Court dismisses application by a former leader of the movement for the emancipation of the Niger Delta, Henry Oka, challenging his trial and conviction for terrorism-related activities. And British members of Parliament back Prime Minister Boris Johnson's plan for the UK to leave the European Union on January the 31st.
On business news tonight, global rating agencies Fitch downgraded Nigeria's 2020 economic outlook to negative, citing risk from current fiscal and monetary policy regime.
On sports news tonight, Arsenal FC appoint Mikel Arteta as their new head coach on a 3.5-year deal.
And from Abuja, Supreme Court voids the candidacy of Mr. Uche Nwosu as governorship flag bearer of the Action Alliance in the 2019 election in Imo State over double nomination.
The President has asked the leadership of the police to shun complacency, embrace professionalism and restore the faith of the Nigerian people in the police. President Muhammadu Buhari made this call while commissioning 217 newly acquired operational and combat vehicles, a national command and control center, as well as an incident database center at the force headquarters in Abuja. He also gave the police the assurance that their funding issues will be tackled using the Police Trust Fund. Our correspondent, Kayla Megwa, reports.
A National Command Center, a Crime and Incident Database Center, and 217 operational and combat vehicles, commissioned by President Muhammadu Buhari, an added boost to the war on crime in the country.
The Nigeria Police National Command and Control Center will enhance effective operational coordination and real-time monitoring of situations via video links between the force headquarters Abuja and all the 36 states of the Federation, including FCT. Similarly, the Nigeria Police Crime and Incident Database Center is to aid the Nigeria Police in acquiring a credible electronic criminal database to support criminal investigation and strategic operational and tactical planning. Today's event represents the first phase of our re-equipment plan, and with the effective takeoff of the Police Trust Fund, we shall sustain our blueprint of modernizing all components of our operations towards addressing any form of threat to our internal security.
Earlier in December, the Inspector General of Police had said since he assumed office, 6,531 high-profile suspects have been arrested in various operations, broken down to 2,627 armed robbery suspects, 1,621 suspected cultists, 1,527 kidnapping suspects, and 758 murder suspects. The police also recovered a total of 2,037 firearms, 21,870 ammunition, and 1,662 vehicles. 945 kidnapped victims were also rescued in various police-led operations in the time under review. President Buhari, however, states that more needs to be done.
Notwithstanding the achievements you have recorded, I charge the police leadership to avoid complacency in the efforts towards ridding the country of crimes. My vision is to bequeath to our nation a legacy of a reformed, modernized, fully equipped, highly motivated, and citizen-focused police force that is reorientated to the virtues of professionalism, respect for rule of law, due process, and best international practices in their operations.
As with most projects in Nigeria, maintenance and actual implementation are key for its efficiency. That way, this doesn't become another white elephant project. Kayla Magwa, Channels Television News.
Well, we'll take a deeper look at the police and crime fighting a bit later on. But besides police welfare, President Buhari's stand on the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement is that Nigeria, as the continent's largest economy, must get it right. The president stated his position while inaugurating the AFCTA Action Committee at the State House Council chamber in Abuja. He said the Action Committee's mandate includes supporting the efforts of MDAs, stakeholders and businesses to achieve the benefits of the agreement. The broad-based committee is chaired by the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment.
As a government, we must ensure that Nigeria's position remains that such integration must be rules-based, with built-in safeguards against injurious practices. Nigeria's approach to the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement has been very measured and consistent. Our logic was simple. As Africa's largest economy and most populous nation, we cannot afford to get it wrong. This, therefore, requires aligning, restructuring existing development projects, programs, and initiatives. Where there are gaps, we must address them. Accordingly, we have established the National Action Committee on African Continental Trade Area Agreement. As a committee, your mandate is to support the efforts of ministries, departments, and agencies of government, stakeholder associations, and businesses to realize the benefits of the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, while putting measures to address any threats that may arise. All parties must work together and not allow any loopholes that might prove injurious to the Nigerian economy.
Let's now examine the efforts aimed at repositioning the Nigerian police to deal with crime more effectively. I'm now being joined live from Abuja by a former commissioner of police in the Federal Capital Territory, Mr. Lawrence Alobi. Thanks a lot for joining us on the news at 10.
Thank you for having me.
Let me start by asking you how you react to what we saw today. You know, the president commissioning an array of equipment to put the police in a better position to fight crime. What did you think?
My heart was gladdened when I saw, not only today, yesterday, when I saw Mr. President, he made a statement that when he was went for the passing out of the cadet in Kano, that the police, that the Nigerian, his government administration will ensure that the police well equipped, well funded, and well motivated. The police will be well catered for. And today again, he went to launch this equipment. And my heart is gladdened that this administration now has actually realized that it is important to see the police as a priority in terms of attention, in terms of funding, in terms of motivation, because the police is the life wire of internal security. Without the police, not law and order cannot be maintained. And when there's no law and order, there cannot be like good governance or governance at all, or democracy in particular. So I think my heart is gladdened that this is really with this step now, I think it is then obvious that the police will move to the next level in line with the mantra of this administration, and the police will be repositioned, its operational effectiveness will be enhanced, capacity building in terms of training, well-funded and so forth. And I pray that Mr. President also should do the needful, ensuring that the committee that will implement the police trust fund bill is constituted, and ensure that only those who are men and women of integrity, not people come and begin to siphon money or send money for political use or thereabout. So I think my heart is glad, and I'm sure every police officer will be happy. So I commend the Mr. President, of course, the IG, because of his performance, that's why Mr. President takes interest to do what he's doing. Because if IG has not been doing well and men have not been doing well, Mr. President will not be interested.
Yes, just to get your thoughts on the key equipment itself. Now, we understand some of the key equipment commissioned included vehicles. They talked about surveillance cameras capable of sending information from anywhere to a control center in Abuja. Did they consider some of our network challenges, or has network got nothing to do with it? How feasible would it be to send information regarding security this way? What do you think?
It's a policing and internal security in particular is technologically driven 21st century. So this equipment will go a long way in enhancing effectiveness of the police. And you see, before such equipment had been procured, the police management team must have at least liaised with the network providers and ensure that that collaboration and all stakeholders to ensure that the equipment are effectively utilized for the benefit of the citizens and to achieve optimum efficiency for the good of this country. So I think I don't have any doubt that the IG and the management team have actually must have consulted those network providers, so they'll be able to make sure that this equipment are effectively used, not just keeping them there, buying them and then dumping them there, and then without being used effectively. So I think that wouldn't be a challenge at all. I'm very optimistic.
And this is a time of year where a lot of people are traveling home. I mean, it's Christmas, and you know what it's been like on the expressways with kidnappings and people being worried when they go home. Now, I'm asking you that because some of the equipment we understand includes combat and operational vehicles that will help monitor the expressways. A lot of people have said that our expressways are quite different from the ones you see in developed countries because we have a lot of bushes around there. What is the idea around that, as one who's been in the force before?
Yes, you see, these equipment are meant to monitor. Like I said, today's policing and internal security is technologically driven, and also intelligence driven too, intelligence based. So these equipment that are meant to track and gather intelligence, gather information, and our information will be utilized by men on the ground operationally. So I think everything is going to be holistically done. And you see, like when I was in service, like when I was policing Abuja, Kogi Road and Kaduna Road, I was what you call a crisscrossing patrol, and also have some points where in case of anything, they can respond promptly. So I think the police might have a lot of various strategies they can use to ensure that they utilize time when public traveling are safe and secure, that the road will be free and safe for citizens. And I'm happy that, like I said, Mr. President actually realized the importance of ensuring that the police is well equipped, well funded, and well motivated, and the police should be put in the front burner of all issue of internal security and address the issues that affect the police. So that, because if the police are effective, the citizens benefit. If the police are not effective, the citizens suffer. And the citizens are the prime beneficiary of effective policing, because that the society will be safe and secure for the citizens. So I think the citizens themselves too should also, in line with Section 24A of the Constitution, assist the police to ensure that the police perform better, cooperate through support and cooperate. Not every time lashing the police or blaming the police. They should also motivate them, encourage them, applaud them for what they do well. And I think this will go a long way in also making them to perform better.
Yes, I know you've talked about being happy that funding is going to happen this time around. And you heard the president giving the assurance that the funding issues will be tackled. But he did say that they will be tackled using the Police Trust Fund. What is your experience of that? I mean, that has a history in its own. I mean, as we're rounding up now, what is your experience of that, and how do you think it should play out this time around to ensure that the officers get the funds they need quickly?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. You know, like the previous one that was an equipment fund, that one was abused. But this one now is going to be, it's an act of parliament, the police of an act of parliament, and it's going to last for about 6 years, but I had always said it should be in perpetuity, because we cannot hand over internal, if that 6 years elapsed and they said the police trust fund is a scrap. No. We will not bequeath to our next generation an insecure Nigeria. So I think that fund should be in perpetuity. But I know that with Mr. President a fight against corruption, he will not appoint people based on sentiment or based on political consideration. He will be able to show that the committee who are going to implement the fund have men of integrity and proper integrity. And again, also the fund will be effectively used for the purpose for which it is meant. And that will begin to see changes, begin to see a lot of improvement in the police performance, police training, their welfare, their remuneration, and so forth. And I think like this is really actually the next level where the police will be repositioned come 2020 and thereafter.
All right, former Commissioner of Police in the Federal Capital Territory, Mr. Lawrence Alobi, thank you for joining us on the News at 10 tonight.
Thank you for having me, and good night.
And in part two, after the break, the Nigerian Air Force destroys more logistics facilities belonging to the Islamic State in West Africa province in Bakare Island near Lake Chad. That's in a moment. Do join us again.